We all know how much Cartoon Network loves to push progressive propaganda. They really ramped it up in 2022, 2023, running bizarre, anti, super woke, like BLM style PSAs during children's cartoons. It's hard to say that you aren't a propagandist when you do this multiple times throughout the year. But Cartoon Network, I mean, I know a lot of parents that they don't let their kids watch Cartoon Network anymore. They used to leave it on, let them watch SpongeBob reruns or whatever was on. Now it's like, oh, Cartoon Network, I got to be careful because they might run some like weird there's more than two genders thing, or there's this, that, or the other thing. Well, over the weekend, obviously there was a lot of kind of hullabaloo around the Day of Visibility, which was celebrated by many in government positions over Easter, or even alongside Easter, which is, I think, enough to make people mad, make people mad in the first place. Well, on Easter, or SpongeBob wasn't on Cartoon Network. I'm not sure. You know what I'm saying? Whatever Cartoon Network had. Can't remember what channel played SpongeBob reruns, but whatever. Cartoon Network goes all in on Trans Day of Visibility, makes no mention of Easter. Now, as usual, I will say I'm actually fine if Cartoon Network doesn't want to, talk about Easter or Christmas. They don't have to, but then they can't talk about any of the other religious holidays or any of the other kind of stuff like that. So like, it's fine if you're going to say we're not doing Easter, but then you can't do like trans pride cartoons, and you can't be anti-racist PSAs with Steven Universe. And you can't do, but that's not how it works. Cartoon Network made sure to post in celebration of the Trans Day of Visibility on Sunday, but made zero mention of the fact that Easter Sunday also fell on March 31st this year. This despite the fact that 1.6 million Americans over 13 identify as trans, and over 200 million identify as Christian and presumably celebrate Easter. Well, there's a lot of people that celebrate Easter that aren't Christian. In a post on Instagram, the cable channel's official account shared a picture of what appeared to be a rainbow in just the colors of pink, white, and blue, the trans pride flag. The same picture appeared several times in a carousel that included different affirmative captions for each frame. I'm growing to my full self. My body belongs to me. I love who I am and who I will become. I'm not alone in my journey. My existence is revolutionary. It isn't. I belong just as much as anyone else. Sure, fine. That's true of everybody. Only I can decide who I am. Okay, that's even fine too. My identity is a process, not a race. What? Okay. I am needed. I am loved. I deserve peace and safety. You deserve peace and safety. Everybody deserves that. Right? Now, of course, the virtue signal always works. It's always very positive. Well, let's look at how the replies are. Good. Here's a reply 15 minutes ago. Screw Cartoon Network. Y'all are nuts. Jesus has risen. So, of course, Cartoon Network pushes trans propaganda instead of Easter, instead of Christian propaganda, one might say. Okay, I don't mean that to be, inflammatory. I'm just saying, the fact that you didn't mention Easter at all, but you made a big post about this, you had paid somebody to design all this stuff all week, it's a little odd. The post read, affirmations for our trans and gender nonconforming family. You're valid just as you are. Then why are you transitioning? Anyway, and a follow-up comment added, we are not doing hate today. Be kind or be blocked. Well, I suspect that Cartoon Network had to block many, many accounts. I'm guessing that there are probably many accounts that had to be blocked. Manny faces had to be blocked. I'm just guessing. I don't know that for sure, but I suspect. I think it's funny that they pre-acknowledge that people are going to be pissed off about it. The cable network, which typically gears the majority of its daytime programming towards kids, has waded in the culture war in the past as well as routinely pushed radical gender ideology whenever given the opportunity. For 2023's Trans Visibility Day, this is last year, Cartoon Network posted the following on X, addressing someone using their pronouns and name shows you that you respect them and you respect their authentic self. Okay? We celebrate the journey of our trans and gender non-conforming friends. Why are they watching? If you're old enough to know that you're transitioning, you're too old to be watching Cartoon Network, probably. And an episode of We Baby Bears that just aired a few months later included a non-binary inclusive storyline that focused on the usage of preferred pronouns and dropped just in time to coincide with Pride Month. Well, of course. Of course it did. This isn't the first time, obviously, either. You can see Cartoon Network's anti-racist PSA tells Americans to see color. This is very common for Cartoon Network. Now, I don't know what their viewership is, how many parents, let their kids watch these shows. As far as I know, nobody that works at Cartoon Network is a doctor or a scientist, yet they're posting about it. If you go to the YouTube, if you look at the YouTube video, it has 21,000 dislikes. By the way, in the woke revolution, even cartoons are being employed to ensure the indoctrination doesn't miss anybody. Two of those elements of the so-called anti-racist agenda are forcing Americans to abandon notions of colorblindness and redefine their relations with others based on race. You must see color to defeat white supremacy, so the self-described anti-racists say. The message came through a YouTube public service announcement aired on TV Cartoon Network, which features a white child, black child, and a purple alien. The characters begin video dancing in a circle, celebrating color blindness. Suddenly, the alien, named Amethyst, has change of heart and says that it actually matters what color a person or alien is. It actually doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. Like, in any real way. Maybe for statistics or sorting purposes or things of that nature, but it doesn't actually matter. It just doesn't. And there's all sorts of other, there's this, here, black inventors, heroes are leading the often left out of history. Ask yourself what you're learning. What? This is, Cartoon Network. Why they have to get woke, I'm not sure, other than that it's propaganda. There was this Steven Universe thing, if I remember correctly. I'm pretty sure there was, how to be anti-racist. How to be anti-racist.
Hey there.
That's who's here. How to be anti-racist, Steven Universe. I mean, it's like when Sesame Street teaches a lesson about how to, treat people. There was an episode of, I think it was Mr. Rogers, or was it Sesame Street, where somebody washes the feet of the mailman who happens to be black. I can't remember exactly which show that was, but like that felt natural. This feels propagandistic. This feels weird. It feels extremely weird. And again, Cartoon Network, no mention of Easter. That's fine. But you better not mention Juneteenth. You better not mention whatever other holidays you might want to celebrate. By the way, when Mr. Rogers was doing it, he was doing it from a biblical perspective, which would never happen now. That would never, ever, 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 ever happen on modern television now. No chance whatsoever. But that's Cartoon Network now. They're all, all these modern cartoons are just vehicles to shove propaganda, communist propaganda down, unsuspecting parents' kids' throats. But people are waking up to it, that's for sure.